Texas announced Thursday the hiring of Patrick Suddes as the new director of player personnel. The 30-year-old has spent the last 8 years working under Nick Saban at LSU, Alabama, and the Miami Dolphins. In his introductory press conference, Suddes expressed his excitement to be working at Texas and how his skill set can help the Longhorns on the recruiting front moving forward.
Coming from a top program, I know what it takes, and it's amazing to go from one winning coach to another winning coach. So basically why I'm here is to improve the lives of the coaches and Coach Brown. Recruiting has changed daily, yearly. It's getting more advanced, so that's why I'm here. Make the job for the coaches easier so that they can evaluate. I've been around a lot of great coaches, great recruiters. Coach Saban, his staff there, really was behind a guy that kind of changed the game in recruiting in college, Ed Manowitz, who's the assistant director of player personnel for the Eagles now. He changed the game and taught me a lot, and I'm kind of taking his philosophy, Coach Saban's philosophy, and then adapting it to Coach Brown's philosophy here at Texas.
There was heavy input from Bo Davis and from Major and Stacy Searles because they had all been around Patrick, and Bo had been around him the most, and Major had been around him his year at Alabama. So we knew some things on the inside. It was a lot of staff discussion because we know this is a very important position for us. We've all been doing the recruiting ourselves. Bruce Chambers and I have been the recruiting coordinator as much as anything, and then we've got Arthur Johnson, who's in charge of everything, and Ken Rucker trying to do camps and clinics, and so we've kind of been mom and popping it here for a long time.
From a marketing standpoint, from a system standpoint, creating a workroom where you got 4 student workers or whatever it is in there, constantly cutting up film and getting information out. Nowadays you go on a recruiting site and you see a highlight film of a kid, and some schools make a decision based off that. Well, you didn't see the kid's lowlights. That could be sophomore film, and then he becomes a junior and becomes either a better player or a worse player. So it's constantly updating the film, so the coaches are put in the best position to make the right decision on that.
It gives us new direction in an area that we haven't had, and like I said, it's as much as I've dealt with recruiting, I'll still work really hard in recruiting, but I'm not going to be doing all the day-to-day hands-on things to get guys to make sure they're out, make sure they're watching video, make sure we're following up. And Patrick will do all those things, which will really help, and the staff's really excited about it as well.
I mean, this is Texas, and when you get someone on campus here, they're going to fall in love with it. I think just everything has sped up in recruiting. Kids are committing, decommitting. I think the player has changed more than Texas not changing. I think, kids have less loyalty to a certain place. There's more street agents involved. It's becoming more like basketball, AAU basketball, and so that's why we got to get our arms around it and make sure we're identifying kids early, and not just because they commit, we're going to come, stay off them. We're going to hit them harder than ever before. So we want to make sure these kids know that the ones we want, make sure they know that we want them day in, day out.
We want to improve our evaluation process. And I think that's something that, as you look at the process that Patrick's gone through with the Alabama staff, they're getting more information in an easier manner to the assistant coaches to make decisions and bring to me, and cutting a lot of the middlemen out. And I think that's very, very important.
I think it's just getting the information out there. Obviously with the Longhorn Network and everything here, I mean, it's, they got everything in place here. It's just about creating a system, a structure, that it's a machine, and day in, day out, you're doing the same things to be successful, and you don't, stray off that path. You stay on the course, and you're always continuing to improve. That's what Coach Brown was saying. They were the best, and they didn't feel like they needed to change. But day in and day out, recruiting has changed. So you have to adapt and stay up with the Joneses.
I think we've done a good job in our camps, but we want to do a better job with our camps. And Patrick brought some idea to our camps that are better than some that we are doing.
You find out the players that are willing to come in and compete and work, and usually those players turn out to be the best players. The ones that come in and they don't want to come to camp. If you look at the NFL nowadays, you got certain players not going to compete in the combine, not going to compete in Senior Bowl, whatever it is, because their agent's telling them not to, because they already think they're the best player and they're going to get drafted here or there. We want kids that are going to come in and compete. So I think that's what camps are all about. You find out the kids that love football, they want to compete and compete at high level. And we got a philosophy, and I'm bringing that philosophy here, and it's Texas should always follow this. You want to be the best, you got to come play with the best.
He's had his hands in everything in the Alabama and the Miami Dolphin, the LSU system. He's been in a pro draft room. He's been in charge of football operations. He's handled the camp at Alabama, which had 1,300 people this year and had the best speakers in the country. And we want to get that back and give it to our high school coaches. We always had the best high school clinic in the country, and we don't anymore. And we want to get that back. That's very important to us because it's important to recruiting, and it's a way we can pay the high school coaches back, and Alabama's doing it better than anybody else.
You grow up, and Texas is the place to be. You know, I was around, you know, one of the greats, Ricky Williams, at Miami Dolphins, so I know what they put out. I know what they can put out, and obviously the state of Texas is the best state in high school recruiting. You know, at Alabama, we'd have to national recruit and kind of go elsewhere, but you know, we got to take control of this state, and I'm looking forward to helping do that in whatever way I can.